That's Gucci. Yo, what's going on, you guys? It's your boy 3 Stacks in this thing, baby, representing Team Kings of Games, coming at you guys with an update for Power Rangers, Pure Super Quantum. This deck's looking real nice with the new revised Master Rule coming around the corner, and I believe roughly a month or less now. Deck's just gonna be really nice in that format. Without the restrictions of requiring link arrows, this deck has free reign, and the extra deck gets a lot more free space. Because really, I feel that the monsters that this deck can make just provide every method of spot removal that a Nightmare has, and they provide disruptions. They really they can control and manipulate what can and cannot resolve, can really decrease the tempo of some of these heavy combo decks. They have spamming capabilities. They can OTK out of nowhere. They're a really solid, well-rounded deck. It can go first or second. This deck's high-key slept on. Is one of my all-time favorites. Like, the decks you see more frequently with more strenuous playtesting, and I try to put a little bit more of my foot into it, is because I want to see these decks succeed in real life. I want to see people playing these decks and doing exceptional with them. But this deck is crazy. I'm showing you guys my list for the new revised Master Rule 4, because that's when this is going to be one of the decks I'm piloting. This and Galaxy Eyes are just two of many decks that I feel are getting their potential unlocked. Basically, they're going into their final form. They were never in their final form until now. So I'm going to get into my list. I want to let you guys know I do have a PayPal and a Patreon. I would greatly appreciate if you donated even a penny. If 13,000 people sent 1 penny, like, yo, that's going to help me eat. So I would appreciate any donations regardless of the amount. Just the thought is really what counts, to show that you guys care about what I'm doing and you're trying to help me eat too. So let's go ahead and get into the profile. This is Pure Super Quantums. It's not pure. I'm sorry. I'm gonna change that. It has some engines that really do gas the deck up a little bit more, like allow you to play through more interruptions and give you more vital boards, more powerful boards. So it's not necessarily pure, but with losing Brilliant Fusion and the plants, I had to supplement some way, and kind of, it still doesn't have that same ceiling with the plants and Brilliant Fusion, but yo, this deck's still gas. So we're gonna start off with 3 copies of Alphin. Can you close that door, please? Babe, can you close that door, please? Thank you. 3 copies of Alphin. So Alphin, if you guys didn't know, is like literally, it's like the best normal summon in the deck. High key. Like, this card is super ridiculous. Like, the snowballing is what happens off of Alphin. Like, Alphin's gonna resolve like 3 effects every time. It doesn't matter what effects, you're resolving 3 super quantum effects, you're getting super far ahead off this one card. I wish every archetype had something like this, because this archetype already has its own searchers, so this is not the Stratos of the deck. This is something different. And I feel like Shadal's, it would be really nice if Shadal's had like a Shadal monster that allows you to reveal 3 Shadal monsters from your deck, special 1, and then send the other 2 to the grave, triggering their effects. Like, if Shadal's had this, this would be nuts, but this card is really insane, like, seriously. And the fact that we have White Layer now, which came out in Dark Neostorm, it just made this deck a lot better. It's able to play through more hand traps now, because you have interactions now where you're like, okay, emergency teleport, special blue. They're like, Ash the effect of blue. You send her from the field to the grave to special him, you know, use his effect, bam, dump something, and you can just get a playoff and then normal summon, and you just can go off. Like, it's really cool. He not only plays through hand traps, but going second, you can play through more interruptions. He baits interruptions himself, and he contributes to any rank, you know, XYZ you want, because he can change and modify levels, as well as Fairy Alpha being able to modify the levels of everything. Like, it's just, this deck's really fun. Like, I love it a lot. It's cool. And they're Go Power Rangers! White Ranger! So yeah, we got White Ranger. And then we have 3 copies of Red. Yeah, this boy's gas. This boy nice. People be playing him high-key in like Ignites and, you know, other decks that he doesn't necessarily belong to. And I ain't gonna lie, bro. I am guilty of doing that a lot. You know, playing cards outside their archetypes. I'm guilty of doing that. But I really am saying that to stress this. This card, you will only see his effect being actually utilized in his own deck. Because in any other deck, all he is basically a Cyber Dragon Warrior. You could special him and make like I Sold. That's what most decks are using him for. But you can't use his effects outside of his archetype. It's not like Galaxy Soldier where you're like, alright, I can play Cyber Dragons or Galaxy Soldier. Like, you can't use his effects unless he's played in his deck. So this, like, it makes him look so good when you see him played in his archetype. You start to realize, like, wow, this is literally one of the best cards ever. He has Grave Recovery plays, both of his effects, and then he has an inherent summon where you can just drop him like it's hot if you control no monsters. Red Layer is high-key, like, probably in 2nd place in the Rangers. He's very powerful because in the grind game, cards like these 2 specifically are going to get you places. They really are. Like, if you just had one of these in hand, top deck the other one, you can just special him, recur something from grave like Blue Ranger, sack him off to special white, and then use his effect to special something else from grave, and you just start snowballing out of control. Then like link those two off, or just exceed. You know, it's just super crazy what you can do with this deck. It's very redundant. Not redundant. I really need to reword my verbiage because people are gonna try to like grammar Hitlers. But anyways. 3 copies of Green Ranger. The best artwork. High key, I see myself in this armor right here. This is me. He has one of the most convoluted and watered down effects. Like he's probably, as far as effects go, he has one of the worst. He specials from hand and he discards and draws. Those are still great effects, but in comparison to his brethren, the rest of the family, he's not as exceptional. But I will say he is an extender, he is a starter, and he can also get you a little bit of recovery. So he's a decent card. All in all, you just really need to see Rangers, period. So I just maximize on all of them. And this deck does spam rank 4s, and he does contribute to that as well. And then I played 3 copies of Blue Ranger. She's the Stratos of the deck. She searches any Super Quant card. In addition to that, she also keeps you in your grind game. She keeps recycling your stuff back to your deck. That's how you can get away with playing with like one Great Magnus, put them back when you need them, and summon them again. So that's going to be it for the Power Rangers. Next up, I am playing a Type Thief engine. If you saw my last Super Quantum deck profile, I have the Predaplants and the Brilliant Fusion, and the Time Thieves were in there too. I really like what Time Thieves offer to this deck. Now, Time Thieves as a deck are awesome, and Winder is always going to be better in his own deck. But he does offer a layer of disruption in the form of Retrograde, because you can easily make Redoer. And so it just gives you an Omni Negation. That's a protection from Dark Ruler No More. It's just really, really good. Now, when you make Magnus, obviously that doesn't work. Dark Ruler No More can't negate Magnus because he's unaffected. But when you just have a standard board of a bunch of Megazoids with their disruptive effects as quickies, you just want to be protected from like Dark Ruler so that they actually have to play into it. So not only that, but it also just, it's really, really nice. It counters, you know, cards like Twin Twister, and it can really just be helpful in certain matchups. I might also play 1 copy of Bezel Ship. Now, I really wanted a second target for Winder because you don't want to like be in a situation where you drew the target for Winder and you're trying to resolve him and just like, dang, you don't get full value. So I like playing 2 targets for the Winder. You can normal or special him and add a Time Thief card, so you don't have to like detach the special him, but that's the best way to use them is just summon any Super Quantum Megazoid, detach a Quant so you'll get its graveyard effect, and then summon Winder and then just chain block and get either one depending on the situation. Sometimes you just RNG into this, so then you get the fullness, you get the Bezel and the Retrograde. But I'm going to put that back where the traps go. So we do play the 1 Bezel. Bezel is also another extender for this deck, which is really nice. Detaching materials from your XYZs can hurt when you're trying to summon the biggest Magnus ever, but when you're not going for Magnus and you're just going for more standard boards, like just putting the Megazoids with their appropriate pilots, like red layer under Magna Liner, and you know, green layer under Ouroboros, and vice versa, white layer under, you know, the Luster, so they're quick effects during your opponent's turn. You're just trying to go for the most disruptive board so you can control the tempo of the game, you know, so that one Kaiju doesn't just fix the problem, they need like multiples. You know, to get rid of all those. So it just really helps with that because it also allows you to extend into Dweller very easily. Because you still need Dweller at the end of the day. Shaddolls are a thing, and Spirals are a thing, and Salamangreats are a thing, and Dinos are a thing. Wow, that's like every good deck, right? Like Dweller just bodies on this meta. So I wanted more powerful normal summons. So what took the place of the Predaplants ultimately was the Neospace Connector and the 1 Dolphin. The reason why I like this as a normal summon is it can bait hand traps first of all, and that's just really good because this is a combo deck. Essentially, it's combo control. It's more mid-range than like heavy combo, but it still can be a combo deck, and it can be played like that. But also the other thing is he gets A, a level 4, and B, a level 3 onto the field off 1 card. And I'm trying to make, when you're trying to make Magnus, to get a level 4 and a level 3, that's half your work to summon an Ouroboros and a Grand Pulse. So now you only need 1 other level 4, 1 other level 3, and you've got 2 of the 3 Zoids you need to make your Magnus. So it contributes to that as well, in addition to just being a starter that really just baits out interruptions. So I just love Connector. He's really saucy. It's a great engine in this deck. Honestly, in testing, it's worked out a lot more. It worked out a lot better than I thought it would. And also, whenever you discard for cost, the Super Quants get their effects when they're sent to the grave, period, like Burning Abyss. So you can use Dolphin, for example, discard White Layer for cost, and then still search Alvin and keep the same cards and the same amount of cards for your economy. And then these are actually Abercrombie. I don't know how to pronounce it. These are heraldic monsters. I don't have them, but I wanted to showcase you guys this. They're supposed to be the Abercrombie. So there's a really amazing spell that came out in Ignition Assault called Charge Up Heraldry. And it has this restriction that says for the rest of the turn, you can only summon psychic or machine types monsters. And I start to think to myself, that's like a 1 card rank 4. What are these all? Every Megazoid is a machine type, right? And it's a for the rest of the turn clause. So I thought to myself, that's a great extender. That's a great way to bait interruptions. That's a great way to bait an Ash Blossom. That's a great way to have a recovery play. If your plays got stopped and you're like, oh, this is the last card of my hand. Charge up, tribute to, you know, special. So they could be any Heraldics, but I just wanted the Abercromways or whatever because I like how they look. And they have cool effects in their own archetype. So these are actually Heraldic monsters, which are going to be pretty hard to find because it's a very old archetype. You got to think about like Chronomalies, Gimmick Puppets, Heraldics, you know, anti-XYZ decks. That's what Heraldics were like. They were like an anti-XYZ deck, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, that's it for the monsters. Now for the spells, we play not 1, not 2, but 3 Magnet Carriers. You kind of need to see this so you can turbo out your XYZs expeditiously without having to worry about overlaying 2. This was the original 1-card XYZ. Before Zodiacs were a thing, before Barrage was like a $100 card back in that format. This deck was out first in Wing Raiders, which is when Psyframes kind of like, you know, became a thing too, around that same format, Yosenjus and stuff like that. This card just allows you to turn any one monster that is a Super Quan into an XYZ, matching its appropriate attribute. It also is how you summon Magnus, because Magnus is a rank 12. You would think, how the heck are you getting, you know, 6 level 12s, or, you know, this is how you're doing it. So the card's just insane. You play 3 because you really want to open it. When it gets Ghost Ogre, you want another one, so it's just, it's an exceptionally powerful card. Like, really, it's super important. Like, if you don't see it, you can still combo off, but you're going to be using more monsters instead of just discarding a card and just getting the free XYZ. I've considered different discard fodders like the Clown Engine, like I consider playing Damage Jugglers and Trick Clowns so that I would have good discard fodder where I could like pitch a Juggler, XYZ, Banish Search Clown, pitch the Clown, XYZ, Clown Effect. I'm still considering that, but my Clown stuff is in my shit-alls and they're better played in there, but I don't know. I'm still on the fence, so my decks always change, you guys. No matter how many times I profile a deck, it's going to be different every time because I actually do work hard on my list. I work very hard on all the content I make, you guys. It's hard work. Next up, we have 3 charged up Heraldies. Card's nuts, you guys. You can only activate one, so if they negate it, you can activate another one. Tribute 1 monster, special 2 Heraldic Beast monsters from your deck in defense. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck. Not even the main deck. You could still special all of your Power Rangers, even if they're not what the restriction is. But from the extra deck for the rest of the turn, except for Psychic or Machine types. Now, what's so funny about that is the monsters that I'm summoning are all machines anyways. And another thing is you can actually do a very similar thing that Lunalite Time Thief is doing, where you can summon Cypher Lord Lambda. Under this restriction, you can summon Lambda, and you can trigger Redoer to search your Gamma, and you can have Lambda, Gamma, plus all your Megazoids. I don't have Lambda, and I can't afford that stuff right now, and I don't have Gammas either. Those were sold a while ago. But when I get my bread back up and I'm able to start investing into myself again and not the channel, I'm definitely going to get those cards personally for me so that I can build this deck the way I really want it to be. But right now, I love this blueprint that I'm showing. But 3 charges of Hell to Read. Like, it literally does not hurt the deck at all, so you might as well just play it because there's no downside. The Heraldics, you can draw them and just discard them off the big ship if you don't want to. And they're still level 4, so you can normal them, which is insane. I might like research and figure out if there's some better Heraldics, but I know that Abercrombie, that's the only one I remember from playing that deck back in the day. He just looked cool. I played 3 Instant Ramens. It's an extender. It also baits interruptions. And when you're going second, there's something I was always doing back in the day. Like, if you guys check out my Herald of Perfection profiles around True Draco format, like True Draco and Zodiac, Pendulums kind of surged in popularity. Electromite was at 3. People were summoning like these Titanic, Firewall, Trigate boards. What I was doing in Herald was I was using Instant Fusion to summon Kaliga, and I would bait 1 negate, and then the rest of their monsters couldn't activate their effects again. People stole my sauce. I'm sorry. I felt like salty. I'm like, so 2 or 3 years later, you know, after the inception of Kaliga, now all of a sudden Invoke shit also is a thing, and people are realizing, oh dang, you can Instant Fusion for Kaliga, and it's actually good going second. Bro, where were you guys? Why weren't you guys watching my channel? You would have learned that a long time ago if you was watching my channel, but you're just now learning it. Come on, baby. But this is, like I said, it's an extender. It's just, Instant Fusion is one of the best cards in the game. You can go first or second with it. It's never really dead. Life points are a thing with time, but you can sign it out then. So I like these spells. You have 1 E-Telly, 1 Foolish Burial, 1 1-for-1, and 1 Pot of Avarice to finish up the spells. Now, the 1-for-1 and E-Telly are literally just so that you don't have to eat your normal summon on either the blue or the white. You want to be able to choose your normal summon when you can. Sometimes you just normal whatever's in your hand. You know, you don't always open the perfect hand. That's in a perfect world, and we're not living in that. So for the traps, I play 3 Shade Brigadines and 1 Retrograde. What I like about the Shade Brigadine in this deck is, like, again, I play a lot of extenders. This allows you to still push and make generics, and you can still make the Ouroboros too. So this deck can make Ouroboros, I think, easier than any of the other Super Quantums. So like he's one of the main materials I'm always loading up. For Magnus, I can summon like him pretty fast because you can summon him and then use his effect to attach from hand to him as a material. And then you can summon another one and use the effect to, like, it's just crazy. But he's one of the easiest Super Quantum, the Megazoids to make in this deck because you have so many rank 4 extenders and stuff. And it just contributes to Magnus. Also, this allows you to make Redoer with a trap so that he's actually a disruption now. So it's not just Gammas negating and Redoer is just like, ooh, let me sack off your deck. You make him like with a trap. So then at that point, like, it's like, do you really want to banish him, you know, and search the Gamma, or do you just want to keep the trap? So you can be in that conflicted state where you're like, ooh, I want to trigger Lambda for Gamma, but I don't want to lose the Brigadine as a material because Redoer has that spot remover that doesn't target or destroy. So it contributes to that too. It makes Redoer stronger. And then the Retrograde, you know, if you control Time Thief, you can just negate spell traps. So it's really cool. And the other thing too, you negate the activation, and if you do it, you attach it. So if you didn't open the Brigadine and you negated a trap like Impermanence or Evenly Matched with this, you can attach it to Redoer, so now he does get that trap. Or the spell, he does get that draw. So I really like this. I might tech in more, but the longevity of the Time Thief engine is not producing results after turn 2 for where I'm needing like multiple targets for Winder, because normally you just burn out. Now for the extra deck, we have the Only Link. Because I'm playing this post the new Master Rule Revised, so I feel if I'm Link summoning, it's going to be for a Link that actually benefits the deck, and this card is ridiculously powerful. Like, the amount of draws you can get off of him is stupid. It makes me sometimes want to play techie hand traps and stuff, because you just can draw so much. Like, you can draw like 4, like, dude. Like, it makes me want to play more of this, because you could like summon it, link it off, summon another one, and just, he's not once per turn, so as long as he has unopened zones, you could go draw, draw, draw. You know, and you're under the new revised Master Rule, so you don't need the extra zone for Magnus. You take all those, overlay the Magnus here, and if you have more extenders, you keep summoning under him. Draw, draw, draw. Discard, draw, discard, draw. It's so good. And his effect is crazy broken. Like, dude, this card is disgusting. And also, that's Mech King Blaster Magnus. We can't forget about Mech King Great Magnus. Great Magnus, my goodness. There's literally, like, no out to this card outside of a Kaiju. Like, because this deck will contribute all of its resources into this one card. So there's no more Lava Golem, there's no more Spear Mode, there's no Super Poly because there's only one card there. There's legit no Dark Ruler no more because he's unaffected by all card effects. And on top of that, he's Colossus. Your opponent can't search unless it's Super Quant, so if it's a mirror, they're fine. And then on top of that, he's shuffling cards without even targeting or destroying them. This card is one of the best boss monsters ever printed. And you know the funniest thing ever? If you do happen to be lucky and you draw that Kaiju, if you Kaiju him, he's going to special summon 3 Super Quant Megazoids from your graveyard to your field, and they will then block from attacks and effects and keep you alive so that you can summon another one. This card is worth the investment. I would absolutely play this no matter if I'm splashing Quantums or just playing pure. This card is just so powerful. It's like, because his Oni can be made in his archetype, it makes it to where people don't really see how exceptional he is. But I promise you, if this card was generic and any deck can summon it, he would have been on the ban list a long time ago. And you mark my words, I guarantee you that. But I love how Konami made sure that he's trapped inside of his archetype so that he can continue to be played without the fear of a ban list, because he really is that broken. Like, you just can't out this card without a Kaiju. You like... He's at 3,600, and if you think you're killing him by battle, not only is he at 36, but he can just spin the monster that has attack. So if they do go, yes, I'm summoning a 40,000, 4,000 beater, he's like, shuffle. They're like, ooh, Avermax, shuffle. Like, he's so good. Goodness gracious. And then I played 2 of the other Megazoids. They're really important, because there are so many hands where you're not only using them to summon Magnus, but you have gas, you can keep summoning more. And Blue Ranger just can't recycle enough because you only use her effect once per turn, and you can only get 3. And typically after you go full combo, you're using her to put your main deck resources back, and then it's difficult to manage your extra deck, so just ratios matter. If you're not trying to like turbo out the actual Megazoids and you're just trying to use this deck to just make generics, you can play more generics, but basically, if you make these cards correctly, this is a Book of Moon during your opponent's turn. This is an Impermanence during your opponent's turn. It negates monster effects. This is like a Dryden, and this just pops back rows. So this pops monsters, this pops back rows, this negates, and this Book of Moons. So when you play combo, you have 3 interruptions for combo. When you play back rows, you just want to summon multiple Grand Pulse, and then you want to summon a card like Tornado Dragon to pair with it, so you have even more for back rows. So you can make a board based on the matchup. So if you're playing combo, you can just say, screw it, I'm not going to summon Great Magnus and just sit on him. I'd rather just leave out 3 interruptions instead of overlaying all 3 of them into one Magnus, which is crazy. He's powerful, but sometimes you just like, I want the minimalistic 1-for-1s to decrease their value and kind of deter their plays, pose a detriment, but also make sure that they're low on resources. So then when I do summon my Magnus, the odds are they don't have the out because they have so few cards left in their hand. Then we have Dugaris continuing with generics. You know, Tornado. Dugaris is insane in this deck. He really is. He's so good. Like, goodness gracious. Dweller, because it's just a meta call. This is Redoer. I don't know why it's a common and I can't find it, but I just can't find Redoer anywhere. This time Thief Redoer, and then this is my instant fusion target of choice. I don't have Millennium Eyes or Thousand Eyes right now, but I do have Kaliga, and I actually like that. He can also be used going second, but in addition to that, he's a rank 4 extender, so instant fusion is always going to be an extender no matter how you use it. And then when you're going second, you can use it to just lock out their monster effect so that you can get something to resolve. And then whenever you want to, like I even was considering, I'm still on the fence about it, but I was considering doing Exiton because like I have a mindset where like, okay, you use Kaliga, bait 1 negate, they can't use the rest, normal, overlay to Exiton, and then try to finish the rest of the board off. But still, he's just really nice. Let's see. Oh, dang. Yeah, and that's the deck profile, you guys. If you want to see content with this, I recommend you look at my Build-A-Board workshop with this deck. I will be playing it in the new revised Master Rule, but I'm just showcasing you guys my list because I'm really trying to grind on content, trying to make sure you guys are satisfied, so that way I can take my break and not feel guilty about it, because I'll be like, dude, I gave you guys all this content, you know, I'm going to chill with my family now. Because I'm really not taking any more requests. Like, when I say my plate's full, it's full. I'm like done taking requests. Otherwise, I'm going to give myself more work than I can handle. And if you guys can't understand that, then that just kind of sucks. But thank you guys so much for those of you who do understand. God bless you. Make good choices. Don't hurt your brain cells. Stay tuned for future content. And you will be hearing from me soon, yo. Peace.